Saving yourself time, money, and stress with immigration starts with being proactive, staying organized, and checking official sources regularly. I've met many people in Hungary who realized too late that they didn't understand fully the type of residence permit they had. The truth is that moving to another country, it's already a huge investment financially, emotionally, and also professionally. For most people, it's expensive and very time consuming. So the more informed you are from the very beginning, the smoother your experience will be. Hi, this is Renato. Welcome to my channel. I am an expat consultant based in Budapest. And if you're not completely sure of what you can do and what you cannot do with your current residence permit in Hungary, let's set up a consultancy call and I will help you understand your options clearly. Now, without further ado, here are the biggest immigration mistakes expats make in Hungary. A visa and a residence permit are not the same thing. A visa only lets you enter Hungary, but it doesn't allow you to stay. So you need to understand the process. Many people submit the renewal too late, and sometimes it causes a rejection. You need to understand what is the deadline for the renewal for your specific residence permit. If you move to another apartment, you need to update your address. The only exception to this is if you are renewing your residence permit and you are also changing apartments at the same time. In this case, you don't need to do the update of the address. You only need to start your renewal submitting the new lease contract. Not every residence permit allows you for anything. Like, for example, if you are a digital nomad and you have a white card, you cannot be employed, you cannot actually start any type of relationship, contractual relationship with any company in Hungary. If you're a student, you cannot work full-time. That's another example. If you are a guest worker, you cannot be a freelancer. If you have the self-employment residence permit, you cannot be employed officially. Some permits require to spend a minimum of stay in Hungary. If you don't do that, if you live for too long, then it might affect your renewal or for long-term residency. Not every permit leads to permanent residency. Some temporary residence permits don't even allow for you to apply for permanent residency. If the purpose of your permit changes, then in theory, you cannot stay in the country anymore. You need to make sure before the change what you can do and what you cannot do. So, for example, if you came to study to Hungary and you have a student residence permit and you stop studying, then you cannot stay anymore. The same for work, for example. If you have a work employment-based residence permit and you stop the working relationship with the employer, then you cannot stay in Hungary. You need to make sure you understand before the change. You are not aware of the requirements related to accommodation. That's a mistake. For example, you are renewing your permit, but you did not renew your lease contract. Yeah, that's going to be a problem. Second thing, also, you see, accommodation is your biggest expense, monthly expense in Hungary. So that's one of the first things that the immigration office will take a look at when calculating if you can sustain yourself in Hungary. A lot of online information is outdated. Now that's one side of the problem. The other side of the problem is, you can ask ChatGPT for advice. ChatGPT will extract the information from the internet. And everybody has a very specific and unique situation or circumstances. And you might be able to tell ChatGPT your very precise and specific situation. But in the internet, nobody, and most probably nobody, have written exactly the situation that you're having at this moment. So you can get guidance, some type of guidance from ChatGPT or the internet, but do not take that as a rule of thumb. You need to check and to double check. Yeah, making a small mistakes because of outdated information or ChatGPT might cost you a lot. This is a huge mistake. Just because it happened and it happened great for a friend of you and it worked perfectly for a friend of you, it doesn't mean that it will happen exactly the same way to you. Immigration status and tax residency are completely different things. You might become a Hungarian tax resident without even thinking that you are one because of staying temporarily. Big mistake. You don't keep digital copies of every immigration document. Yeah, sometimes the immigration office will ask you for all papers, and you might not have them digitally. That's a problem. You might have them, back home, for example. So keep every paper. From every paper, keep a digital copy. The other thing is also put your immigration papers separate from your money. If somebody steals you, either here in Hungary or outside while traveling or back home, at least you have your papers. Many expats forget to renew their passport when they are renewing their residence permit. So if your passport expires soon, the duration of your residence permit might be affected. Buying flight tickets before your renewing process. It is not recommended to travel when you are in renewing process of your residence permit. Marriage does not automatically give you residence rights. And if you marry in Hungary, depending on the type of residence permit you have, you might not be able to change to family reunification within Hungary. Bureaucracy is country specific. If you are an expat in the US or in Germany or in Spain, do not assume that things will be the same here in Hungary. Check the processes, check the requirements. Many people wrongly assume that, for example, I came to Hungary and I studied in the university between 2019 and 2022. Then I left for 1 year and then I came to work for 2 more years and then I have 5 years and I can apply for residence permit. That's wrong. Continuous residency matters. So you need to check the requirements. You cannot have gaps. Not every residence permit allows for permanent residence permit. Immigration mistakes usually do not happen because you don't care or because you didn't plan. They happen because the system is very confusing, the rules they change, and expats rely on incomplete information. The good news is that most of these problems are avoidable if you stay informed and if you are proactive. I hope this video helps you. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.